first, one topic I want to get here, W3 schools. Yeah. So you look at the title, MySQL having clause. Having clause, all right, yeah. So this having clause, yeah, when we use the aggregate functions, if we want to specify, describe the condition related to the aggregate functions, we need this having clause. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so look at this. The having clause was added to SQL because the where keyword cannot be used with aggregate functions. Yeah. Think about that. The where clause. So in a where clause, if you want to, describe your condition involving aggregate functions, you have a problem. Okay? Yeah. So in that situation, you should use the having clause. Yeah. The syntax like this. Yeah. All right. So after the where clause, group by, yeah. So you prepare for the aggregate functions. Group by, you define subgroups. Then, after you define the subgroups, now you have some more conditions you need to specify related to the aggregate functions. Yeah. So the subgroups, aggregate functions, you apply on the subgroups, then you need to specify certain conditions, right? Yeah. In that case, yeah, you cannot use the where clause. Yeah. So you should use this having clause. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So that's the, how to use it. Yeah. Because many students, it's very easy to get confused. Yeah. The having clause, the where clause, yeah, because you specify certain conditions. Yeah, very easy to get confused. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. So here, some simple examples. Yeah, let's look at this simple example, W3 school. Yeah. Yeah. List the number of customers in each country. Only include countries with more than 5 customers. Condition, right? Yeah. So here, list the number of customers. You need a count function, aggregate count function. Yeah. And your subgroups, you define your subgroups by countries. Yeah. After that, you need to describe the condition on your subgroups, right? The aggregate functions that is applied on the subgroups. In this situation, you should use the having clause, okay, not where clause, okay? Yeah. All right, so let's look at the answer. Yeah, answer here, yeah, pretty straightforward, okay? Count, customer ID, comma country, yeah, group by country. There, it's not a where clause, okay? Having condition, yeah, because you need to use the aggregate function here, yeah, in your condition, yeah. Count, yeah, so that function value greater than 5, yeah, that's straightforward, yeah, yeah. All right, yeah. So another one, yeah, another example, yeah. So list the number of customers in country, sorted high to low, yeah, order by high to low, yeah. Only include countries with more than 5 customers, yeah. All right. So you need to add the order by, okay. All right. So you copy the previous, then order by, yeah, descending order, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just because in our homework assignment number 3, we will practice many aggregate functions, yeah. Many aggregate functions. Yeah. So we have a lot of things to practice. Correlated nested queries. That's a big block. Then aggregate functions. Yeah. After that, then another topic. So I will talk about that here later soon. Yeah. Another important topic. Yeah. So we have several important topics we need to cover in our last homework assignment. Yeah. So I plan to give you 15 query questions this time, the last round. Yeah. So the concept questions, I will give you 10 concept questions. Okay. Still the quiz style, yeah. So I will look at if I need to, yeah, because we use a lot of quizzes. I need to see if we have, some quiz available. Yeah. Yeah, probably we still have one last quiz available, but so I will use the last quiz and as the part A, at the same time. So our quiz number 5 and the part A of homework assignment number 3. Yeah. Then part B, I will give you 15 query questions to do the practice, last round practice. Okay. All right, yeah, so we finish this topic, having clause. Okay, so next, yeah, so we have one slide left from last topic. Yeah, remember exists function, right? We finished this slide. Yeah, from so there is a last slide, yeah. Another question. We need to practice not exists function. Okay, not exists function. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So the meaning is very straightforward. Yeah. So understanding meaning very easy to understand. Yeah. But you just, you need to get your experience, build up your experience. So in certain situations, yeah, so you need to apply the special way to write your queries. Yeah. Let's look at the question here. Retrieve the names of employees who have no dependent. Yeah, very simple. Yeah. So we do not need to use this function. Yeah. So using our old way, we can do it, right? Yeah. For example, not in operator. How about that? In operator, not in. Yeah, because no dependents. You can use not in operator, right? It's also very easy. Yeah. All right. So our first solution. Oh yeah. So this one we already used. This not exists. Yeah. Yeah. Later, probably we can look at the not in operator. Yeah. Yeah. So E, then you select that employee where not exists. Yeah. So you want to get list. So here you list the dependent. Yeah. ESSM. Yeah. Yeah. Although everything, yeah. So you want to see if it's empty or not. If it's empty or not, yeah. For the current employee SSM, yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Then empty, no dependent. Yeah. All right, straightforward. Yeah. All right. Yeah. And so here, yeah, before we move to the next question. Yeah. Next question. I like to, because in this situation, another query, we can do the same thing, and the logic is similar. Similar. Yeah. For example, so here the first part, I just, the first part I copy, okay? Yeah. I copy. After that, where not in operator. SSM, okay? Yeah. We want to see this SN not in operator, then the query, in the query we want to list, select ESSN. Yeah. Right. From dependent. How about that? Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Because if an employee does not have any dependent there, when we list all the ESN, this SS is not in that list. So that logic, see, yeah. Not in operator. Yeah. 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 And this, so different ways, actually different ways. So when we do the same thing different ways, yeah. If you know several ways to do your practice, do the same thing. Because sometimes one way could be better than the other way, yeah. Especially for some relatively complex cases. Yeah. So one way could be slightly better. Better here, I mean easier to understand. Yeah. Easier to understand, better than the other one. Yeah. All right, so that's the, yeah, this question, the first one. The second one, retrieve the name of each employee who works on all the projects controlled by department number 5. Yeah. Because, so think about, some of the projects are controlled by department 5, right? So we can get a list of all those project numbers, yeah, controlled by department 5. Because for each project, there is department number associated with the project number. Yeah. So based on the department number, you can list all those projects. Yeah. But here you want to list, you want to, yeah, because for each employee works on multiple projects, right? Multiple projects. Okay? And that employee should work on at least one of the projects controlled by department 5. Yeah. Yeah. So here, first time we need to understand, we try to understand the structure, the logic structure of the statement. Yeah. Based on your understanding, because you can have several different ways to understand. Based on your understanding, so you just find a relatively easier way to write your query. Yeah. All right, so here, can we use an inner query to list all the project numbers controlled by department 5? Yeah, that's easy, right? Yeah. All the project numbers controlled by department 5. Okay? Yeah. In the project table. Yeah. So project table. Yeah. Yeah. So department 5. Yeah. List. Yeah. Simple query. All right. So you put it aside. There, each employee. You need to use works on table, 2 tables, employee table, works on table. Yeah. So you join these 2 tables. So the work on table, works on table, yeah. Yeah. Then you want to see, yeah, you want to see, think about. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, you can do this way. Yeah. Because when you join these 2 tables, yeah, when one employee works on one particular project, so that employee's ESSN appears in the works on table. Okay, all right. Now, you, so here, because you look at the works on table row by row, right? Each row, there is a project number, right? Each row, there is a project number, okay? So that project number is in the list you just created, okay? Yeah. But in that way, one employee may appear more than once. Then you need to use distinct. So, that is one way understanding. Here, let's look at not exist function. Because based on the natural logic, most people, if they use their natural logic, so they may not use this not exist function at the beginning. So we need to practice. All right, so here, select employee, not exist. Not exists what? See, not, so here, actually the logic, not quite natural. So what's that? So here, the inner query, let's look at the inner query. Here we use this except operator. Inner query, we do one set operation, except minus set operation. So the set operation, one set, so one circle, the first circle, okay? Control by department 5, okay? D equals 5. Second circle, because for each employee, by one SSN. Okay? Two sets, one SSN. Okay? All right. All right. Oh, actually the meaning is each who works on all here. There is a, So what I described before, I missed that all keyword. So here, this all is important. Okay? This all, The first time I described the logic, I didn't use this all. I removed this all. Okay? That's a different question. That's easier. That will be easier. Okay? I remove that. But here, if we use this all, then much harder. Okay? Think about how do we represent all? Meaning, all meaning. That's hard. Okay? So that one without all, probably I can put in the homework question, last homework assignment question. Without all, much easier. But here there is, how do you represent all things, right? So here, this is one way. This is we use the set operation. Okay, all right. Department 5, we know, so the first circle, okay? The first circle, these project controlled by Department 5. Okay, Then second circle, a different set, a list of projects, worked by the current employee, this current employee. Okay, two sets. Two sets. Now we do set operation except. So let's say this is A. Okay, this is B. Now we do A minus B. Okay. In A set, we remove all the elements that belong to B After we remove that part, so here you can see, you know, the overlap part, right? After we remove the overlap part, the remaining elements becomes empty. Think about that. You remove all of them, right? That's the all. That's what you represent, all thing, all property. Because you remove all of them, right? So yeah, use this except. Yeah, so this is, you know, different way to yeah. Some people use this way to write. Yeah. The meaning, yeah. Except meaning. So what's the meaning? Except. Okay, yeah. In set theory, yeah. Then empty. So this time not exists. Oh, right. Yeah, because you are interested in the empty case, right? Yeah, you are interested in. You're not interested in non-empty case. You're not interested in non-empty case. So here you are interested in the empty case. So that's why it is not exists. Yeah. Negation way. Yeah. Yeah. So this type of question, relatively hard. Yeah. Relatively hard. Yeah. Because you need to, the hard part is an understanding part. Yeah. How to represent this all property. All property. Okay? Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So this example. Yeah. So this example, I want to treat this as the hardest question in this class. Okay? The hardest question in this class. Yeah. 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 So I may give you similar questions. Yeah. So one or two similar such questions in the last assignment. Similar. So you need to get used to this negation. Yes, here we use the negation way, right? Not exists. This way. Yeah. Understanding. Representing, yeah, the most important part is that all. Yeah. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. So when you see that all, you need to be very careful. Okay? How to represent that all thing. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, so that's the B.1, the first topic. Yeah. So then B.2, yeah, so right. B.2, there is another important topic I want to talk about. Yeah. So related to the complex queries. Yeah. So it's called a SQL with clause, SQL with clause. Yeah. All right, so that is very important. Yeah. So I want to use some examples. Yeah. Yeah. And in our last assignment, we need to practice about 4 questions. Yeah. I need to probably, at least 4 questions. Yeah. Because some questions you can use this way, you can, and you do not have to use this way sometimes. Yeah. Yeah. But sometimes if it's too complicated, there it's better to use this way. Yeah. All right. Now, so let me show you the content. It's a powerful tool, SQL with clause. Yeah. So what's that? Not very complicated. Actually, it's pretty straightforward. Yeah. After you see a few examples, you can easily understand it. Yeah. Pretty straightforward. Yeah. All right. Let's look at it. The goal of this method. It simplifies complex queries in certain way. So what way? Certain way. Yeah. All right. Yeah. How? Define temporary tables. Yeah, we can use temporary tables. Yeah, because you can define more than one tables. Yeah. Yeah. Although most of the time we only need to define one temporary table. Yeah. But sometimes we may need second, third temporary tables. Yeah. Or result sets. that can be reused multiple times. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Yeah, yeah. Now you can understand why it can help you, do the complex queries better, easier, better. Yeah, yeah. So here, regarding, yeah. So I see some two chat messages. Yeah, let me check it. The chat messages. Yeah. If I miss anything. Grant, what difference between exists operator and yeah. All right, good. Yeah, this in operator. Yeah. So here, yeah, I think that's a good question. So here, let me tell you, based on my understanding, the difference. Yeah, so let's look at the original meaning of these two. One is a function, another is an operator. Yeah, so exists, it's a function. Yeah. Function, another operator. So, exists, you can see what's inside. What do we pass in the exists function? Yeah, so here, let's compare, okay? Yeah. Exists, one is exists, parenthesis, okay, yeah, inside. Yeah. Another is in, inside. Yeah. All right. So here you can see, yeah, the difference. Before this in, usually, yeah, but it could be different. Yeah. Before that in, usually we use one field, right? One column, one field. For example, SSN. Yeah. In that, you should match this SSN, right? Yeah. So you select. In your select, you should select some attribute compatible with the SSN, right? Yeah. So in that case, a list of the objects. The object basically, they are SSN objects. So compatible, okay? If you list the first name, not compatible, right? If you list the other thing, ages, not compatible, right? Yeah, that kind of thing, all right. So in this exists, yeah. So here you can see inside it, you only require not empty, right? What do you need? Not empty. You can have a lot of things there. Think about that. Yeah. So very flexible. Not restrictive. Yeah. So something you do a query that is non-empty. You can use it. Yeah. But this in a little more restrictive. Because you need to consider that compatibility thing, okay? Yeah, so slightly different. Yeah, yeah. Although for the same question, probably you can use two ways. It's possible. You can use two ways. Yeah. So you just pick one that you feel a little easier for you. Yeah, a little easier for you. Yeah. Usually, based on my experience. Usually we like to try this in first. If in works, yeah, because we feel the in operator is easier to use. Yeah. So then we do not need to use the exists function. Yeah. But if in is too restrictive, if you feel not very flexible, okay, too restrictive, yeah, then you may like to consider that exists function. Yeah. So yeah. But you need to practice to get more experience, in the understanding of these two different ways. Yeah. All right, yeah. So let's move to next topic. Yeah. Yeah. All right, yeah. But here, before we continue, I want to talk about in our last midterm question. Remember? Oh, not last one. Not last one. Yeah. The one, remember, yeah. you need to join many tables. Yeah, one student told me joining 5 tables. The first time, yeah, because when I make question, because usually when I give you table join questions, at the most, I want to give you 3 table join, not 5, too many. Yeah. But yesterday when I made my answers, I noticed that we need to use 5 tables. Yes, in order to connect, all the informations we need, we really need 5 tables. Yeah, so that's some problem. So in the real world situation, when you need to work on this special situations, what's the special situation? You need to join 5 tables. Then you need to consider the performance. Yeah. Because when you join too many tables, the performance could be slowed down significantly. Yeah. Yeah. I remember I had experience before. Yeah. So I did some real world project. And once when I did some large table join operation, extremely slow. Yeah. After I hit the button, I wait there, 10 something seconds, that long. Yeah, but the data is not that huge, 10 something seconds. Yeah. So then, I guess it probably because too many tables when you join. Yeah. Yeah. Caused the problem. Then, so I fixed the problem. I split the query into 2 queries. Yeah. So each query, I do not join that many tables. Yeah. 2, no problem. 3, most of the time, fine. Yeah. But if more than 3, then you may have to slow down. Yeah. Yeah. Significantly slow down. That could happen. Okay. That could happen. You need to test it. That could happen. Yeah. Yeah. So here, joining 5 tables. So then we need to really test. I mean, for this example, probably, the data is not that big. Yeah. In your real world project, so you really need to test it before you can use it. Yeah. So the solution, basically, we want to split it. A few steps. So each step, we do not join that many tables, 2 or 3 tables. Yeah. So then we split 2 queries. Yeah. So, yeah. Here, this with clause, we can do that. Because in the temporary table, when we define temporary table, we can join, let's say, 2 tables, right? Then in our main table, yeah, main query. So we have a temporary table query, and we have a main query, right? In our main query, so then we just use the result from the temporary table. Yeah. So we can join fewer tables. Yeah. Things like that. Okay, all right. Yeah. Benefits. Improves readability, enhance performance. See? Yeah. Readability is important, easier to understand. Yeah, step by step. Okay? Easier to understand. Enhance performance. See? It can make your performance faster. Faster. Okay? Yeah. 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 Because if you do not use this with clause, you need to write a big, huge query statement. Then the structure could be very messy, right? The structure could be very messy. Especially sometimes the same query, inner query, you need to copy multiple times. That could happen. Yeah? Because that group, that data, that set of data, you need to use multiple times. That could happen. So you copy, the same query result multiple times, then it's slower. Yeah. If you use the temporary table, you only need to do once. After that, you refer the temporary table, that result, right? Only once. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. So that's another reason this way can improve the performance. Yeah. Yeah. All right, now syntax. Yeah. Yeah. So another name, yeah, if you read the technical articles, yeah, some authors use this common table expressions, refer to this with clause. Yeah. All right. Syntax. Yeah, so here, let's look at this thing. With. First, you start with the keyword, with. All right. After that, your temporary table name. Yes. So you choose the appropriate temporary table name. Okay. Yeah. Then, inside parentheses, aliases. Yeah. Because this is the temporary table, right? Temporary table, select. After select, you may have, multiple fields. Yeah. Yeah. Multiple, your projection, right? Yeah. So then this part is optional. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Many times people do not use aliases. Yeah. If you do not use aliases, then the field names inside is used. Yeah. Later we will see. Yeah. Because here it's an average salary, so this one it create an alias. Use average value alias to refer to this AVG aggregate function call. Yeah. Yeah. All right. After that, yeah. So this temporary table is available. Okay. So now this is your main query. Okay. So here, this main query. So you select for your ID salary temporary table. Here you see you join two tables. The second table is the previous temporary table. Now you can use it. Okay. So you imagine the result is ready. You can use it. Yeah. All right. So after you join, you specify condition employee dot salary. Yeah. The salary of the current employee is greater than the temporary table dot average value. Yeah. Here you use the alias. Alias. Here. See? So that's the typical way you use this with clause. You define a temporary table, then in your main query, you just use that temporary table as a normal table, right? You use it as a normal table. So you prepare your data in the temporary table. Yeah. Because if you want to do everything together, it could be very messy, right? It could be very messy. Yeah. 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 So when I did the gradient, I saw that. So many students, they wrote the query very big, messy, structure. Yeah. So this way, so you can make your queries more readable, yeah, much easier to understand and faster, right? Yeah, because sometimes you need to use those queries multiple times. Yeah. Yeah. Faster. Yeah. All right. So another example. Yeah. 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 All right. Use multiple temporary tables. Yeah. Here. Multiple. Yeah. So if you need to use more than one temporary tables to store your preparation data. Yeah. Preparation data. Okay. Yeah. So you can use 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Yeah. Very easy. Yeah. All right. Look at the syntax. Still with, you only need to use one with clause. Okay. The first table, temporary table definition. Here, the second temporary table definition. Okay. The first one, the temporary table name. The second one, another temporary table name. Yeah. Yeah. So the alias is optional. Okay. Yeah. That one-to-one correspondence. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So then, in your main query, yeah. So you just so here you join two temporary tables. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Not very hard to use. Yeah. Actually, pretty easy to use. Yeah. This. Yeah. After you get used to this way, yeah. So many complex queries, you can make it relatively easier to work on. Yeah. to work on. Yeah. Yeah. Because you can split. Yeah. So one query very big. This time after you split, 1, 2, 3, not that complicated. Okay? Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh, another. Yeah. Let me see another message. Let me check. Where and how is the temporary? Yeah, temporary. Yeah. So here, yeah. So why we say it's temporary? Yeah, because it's only available in your current query, right? Yeah. So you can use it. Yeah. So after you define it, so you can keep use it. But after that, if that session is gone, then it is gone. That's why we say temporary table. It's not permanent table, right? Because you do not persist that data on your hard drive, right? Yeah. So it's not permanent table. Yeah. So after you shut down your computer, it's gone. Permanent table, what's the permanent? Permanent table, you shut down after you come back, you can always get your permanent table data. Yeah. It stores on your hard drive. We call it the permanent. Temporary, yeah, when you're in the current session, you can use it. If the current session is gone, then you cannot never access the temporary data. Yeah. So that's the reason we say temporary. Yeah. Yeah. Even you do the second query, you cannot refer to it, right? Yeah. So in the first query, yeah, so you use it. Now after you finish it, now you need to run the second query. Then that old data is gone. Yeah, because you start a completely new query session. Yeah. So here we can treat it as a small session. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Another example. Yeah. List those project numbers for which there are maximum number of employees working on the project. Yeah. So in our last query, we will have several such questions. Yeah. Maximum number of employees. Yeah. We know how to get a maximum by the max function, right? Yeah. So we know that by max function. Yeah. Yeah. Find the max value of, from certain table. Yeah. But here, we want to list those project numbers for which there are maximum number of employees work on this project. All right. So here, let me do analysis a little bit. Yeah. We want to understand this statement first. Yeah. All right. For each project, we can get a number of employees working on this project, right? Yeah. From the work zone table, we can, when we define subgroups, we use a project number to define subgroups, right? Yeah. Then we apply count function on those subgroups. So for each subgroup, we have a count number. After that, can we find a maximum? Can we use this max function on those counting numbers to get the maximum number? Right? Yeah. So we can find. Yeah. All right. Now, we want to list those project numbers. Yeah. So for those project numbers, corresponding to those project numbers, the number of employees work on those projects, that's the maximum number. But you may have more than one project numbers corresponding to the maximum employee numbers, right? Yeah. It's not necessarily one. The max here is not necessarily one. Could be more than one maximum numbers. Okay? Yeah. Then, because sometimes some students Yeah. Some students tend to use the order by, yeah, sort the counting number. Order by, yeah, some order by clause and descending order. Order by that, counting number, then descending order. If you do that, maximum numbers appear at the beginning, yeah. But that case, if you use the limit 1, yeah, because if you take the first one, limit 1, that way you may not get all those projects. Okay? You just get one project corresponding to the max number. Yeah. So that way, not the best way. Okay? Yeah, because this way, yeah, so many students, so they use this limit 1. Yeah. Yeah. Descending order, then you only take the first one. That's the maximum number. But the question, if you have more than one projects with the same maximum number, then this way you cannot get all of them out. Yeah. So we need to use a different way. Here we use the with clause to list all those project numbers. Yeah. All right, let's look at it. Yeah. So here, this first way, yeah. This way, I give you a way without using that with clause. Okay. So this solution. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Inner query, outer query. Yeah. So outer query works on. Yeah. So works on counter number alias. Okay. Yeah. Works on group by project number. Yeah. So each project number there is a count number. Count number. Okay. All right. So that's the outer query. The inner query. Yeah. Because we want to specify condition, right? The inner query, this place, we need to use having clause. Okay. Yeah. We cannot use where clause here. Okay. Yeah. Because, in your condition, you need to use the aggregate functions. Yeah. All right. So then, the current count number, PN current equals. Yeah. So equals. The maximum value here. Okay, so what maximum? A temporary table. So this is the alias of the so here, inner query. You can see this inner query. Yeah. In the from clause, you have another query in the from clause. See? Yeah. So in the from clause, you count. Yeah. You count the number of employees for each project. Okay. Yeah. You count. Yeah. After you count, because it's in the from clause, supposed to be a table, then in this case, you have to use an alias for your table. Okay? Yeah. You have to define alias for your, inner table under the from clause. Yeah. Otherwise, DBMs will complain. Okay? Yeah. Even if you do not use, yeah, because here we use this TPE, this, temporary inner alias of the table, we use it. But if you, in the from clause, suppose you have an inner table you define, even if you do not use that alias, you still need to define the alias. Yeah, because the DBMS will complain if you do not define alias. All right, so here we define this alias that max.en equals. Yeah. So this way we can select all those, project numbers. All those project numbers. Yeah. But it's pretty complicated, right? Yeah. You can see. Yeah. This query is pretty complicated. Yeah. All right. Now let us use the with clause to write this query. Because this inner query, can we define a temporary table for that inner query? right? Yeah, so think about that, okay? Yeah, all right. New solution. Yeah, new solution. So let's look at this way. Yeah. With non-employee project, temporary table name. Yeah. As, then we define. Yeah, because here, after that, here you can see we do not use parentheses to define aliases. Yeah, you don't have to. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to. Sometimes, if it's not too complicated, then we do not need to. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Then inside, then this, the inner table, the counter number. Yeah. So we define temporary table. Yeah. That works on. Yeah. For each project number, we count that number. Yeah. Okay. All right. Then our main query, select the project number, that from this temporary table. Okay. Then, so this number equals, because this time we can refer to that temporary table. We call max on it. Okay. Yeah. So here, basically, what do you do? Basically, so the way we do here, it's like you create a variable, right? But this time, the variable name is your temporary table name. Yeah. Yeah. Just like we use variable in our programs. Yeah. Yeah. In that way, when we need to use the value in that variable, we just use it. Yeah. So here you can see, we just treat it as a temporary variable. Yeah. We just use the table. Yeah. We define. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So here, but here you can see this place. Yeah. One thing I want to point it out is, look, in this our main query we use the where clause. We use the where clause. Okay? All right. Yeah, let me look at the time. We use the where clause. Why I emphasize this point? Remember at the beginning when we learned the having clause, we said when you need to specify a certain condition involving aggregate functions, you should use having clause, right? Not where clause. Yeah. But here it's different. Here, because inside our temporary table, we use the aggregate functions. Yeah. But after you run the query, after that you have a the temporary store that data, then the aggregate function is invisible, right? Yeah. After you have the data, the aggregate function is gone. That's why, although you use the aggregate function to generate, but your data, when you use it, the aggregate function is gone, right? Yeah, aggregate function is gone. Okay, yeah. But in this select, you use aggregate function, but that is the query result, right? That's the query inside query. So this case, you can use where. So that's why sometimes, when you use the where function in the right way, although you may see some aggregate function appears here and there, but so here you need to try to figure out what kind of aggregate function you cannot use in where clause. So what kind of aggregate functions you can use in the where clause? Yeah. Here, this aggregate function you can use in the where clause. Yeah. Yeah. Because this place, this inner query, it looks like another temporary table, right? Another temporary table. Okay? Yeah. All right? Yeah. 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 Think about that. Yeah. The temporary table. Yeah. All right. Then, but this question I also tested. Yeah. I replace where by having. It works. Yeah. I tested. Yeah. Yeah. Although, it looks like, because I feel, if. Yeah. So having, where, we try to understand the difference. Yeah. But this one, when I replace where by having, it still works. Yeah. Yeah, still works. Yeah. Yeah. All right? Yeah. 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 So that's something. Yeah. So in order to understand the difference between where and having, yeah. So we need more experience, yeah, to understand that. Yeah. Yeah. Before you have enough experience, yeah. So it's better you do testing a little bit, okay? Yeah. So when you do, yeah. So it's better. So you do some testing, okay? Yeah, and then see if it works. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So then availability. Yeah. So for this with clause, availability I mentioned once before, but here I want to make it clear. Yeah. Regarding available, not available. Not available in MySQL version 5, okay? Yeah. Version 5, currently our W3 school use this version 5, okay? Yeah. So available in version 8. Version 8, yeah. So our current exam, yeah, that version, yeah, has this version 8. Okay, all right. Question?
Yeah, you said we're going to get questions like this on our homework.
Yes.
So will the questions on the homework be on W3 schools like that, or will you only make it to where the exam questions will have that kind of question? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes, I know, I understand you say. Yeah, so for your question, yeah, so I will give you that North Wind script. So you download, you install in your exam. Yeah, so I will post that, okay. Yeah, in the class notes today, I upload, I'll give you that link, okay. Northwind.sql, you install, yeah, Andy?
Would it matter if we use MySQL Workbench or
Yeah, no problem. Workbench, yeah. Workbench, I think the newer version should support this. Yeah, you can, yeah. Yeah, so Workbench also very popular. So you can use that. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, yeah. Many students use that. Yeah, Workbench. Yeah, all right. Yeah. So that's this question. Yeah. All right. So we finish this topic. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Oh, summary. Yeah. Before I finish, let me do the summary. Okay. Yeah. Properties of SQL with clause. Yeah. The SQL with clause is good when used with complex SQL statements rather than simple ones. A simple we do not need. Yeah. Yeah. Redundant, yeah, not necessary, yeah. So you know that, yeah, yeah. But when you feel, yeah, it's hard. It's yeah, you need to do a lot of work. Yeah, in that situation, probably you need to consider this one. It also allows us to break down complex SQL queries into smaller ones, which make it easy for debugging and processing complex data. Because sometimes you can do testing on, each temporary query. You can check the result first, yeah, and see if it works. Yeah. Debugging, yeah. Make sure so each small query, subquery, works well. Yeah. So before you make your final query. Yeah. So that's another reason this method is a good one. Yeah. The SQL with clause is basically a drop-in replacement. I mean, just like a variable, you replace it. You can copy paste, yeah, but you know here, drop-in replacement to the normal subquery. Yeah. Yeah. Suppose you have a subquery in your main query, okay? Now you want to outsource it, right? You take it out. So you create a temporary table to store the result of that subquery, okay? Yeah? So that's another way to understand the store. Yeah. Yeah. See? Yeah. And the SQL with clause can significantly improve query performance by allowing query optimizer. Yeah. Query, what's that? Query optimizer. It's built in DBMS. Okay. Inside DBMS, there is query optimizer. Okay. Yeah. So each query, so it will, you know, use some internal way to make it as fast as possible. Optimizer. Okay. All right. To reuse the temporary result set, reducing the need to reevaluate complex subqueries multiple times. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So that's one way you can make your query faster. Yeah. Especially for complex queries. Yeah. Because your structure could be very messy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, structure very messy. It could be very slow. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. So then I have a few more minutes. Yeah. So then I want to talk about our second project a little bit. Okay. The project number, because I need to post the description in a few days. Yeah. Soon. Yeah. Project 2. Yeah. Yeah. Because here I notice many students do not have the experience in PHP programming. Yeah, many. Yeah, based on my, communication. So that's not a problem. Okay. Yeah. So that's not a problem. Yeah, because this is a database class. It's not a web programming course. Yeah. So although we want to address some points, yeah, but our main focus is not at the web programming. Okay. Yeah. So I do not want to give you too much work in web programming. Okay. So our main focus is on SQL queries. Yeah. That's our main focus. Yeah. So I plan to do our project 2 in this one. Yeah. Yeah. Remember, I said I will give you several sample projects. Yeah. I already gave you the first one, but I will give you a second and a third. Yeah. At least 3 sample projects. Okay. Yeah. So those sample projects already contains the most of the features. Okay. In this project 2. Yeah. Yeah. Containing most of the features already. Features. Yeah. All right. So I want to use it as a study project. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it's not too much for development, writing your code. So yeah, because you may like to study how things work, how to do this, how to do those features. You try to understand, okay, how to make it work. So use it as a study project. Okay? Yeah. You need to study, understand it. Yeah. But then I need to, but because you need to do some work, right? Otherwise, it's too easy. Yeah. Otherwise, it's too easy. So I plan to give you 3 relatively simple features. Yeah. The features, 3 features, 1, 2, 3, but each feature, pretty simple. Okay, pretty simple. Yeah, not hard. But you need to do something. Yeah, but because you need to, do some hands-on work. Yeah, you need to do some hands-on work. So my plans, I need to give you 3 simple, small features. Okay, yeah, the features very small. Yeah, not a lot of coding. Okay, 3 small features. Yeah. 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 These 3, the purpose of these 3 small features, because you need to have some understanding, right? Because when you can do something, but you need to have some understanding. If you know nothing, you cannot even do these 3 simple features, right? Yeah. So at least you need to understand the code of the sample project. Understand the code. Then I ask you add, amount of feature. You need to get the data from the server side. Then you need to, do some manipulation, another side. Okay. Yeah. Do something. Do some work. Yeah. Do some work. Yeah. But the feature I mentioned before, remember I mentioned that I like to let you do some multi-row insertion, right? Yeah, I talk about that, multi-row insertion. That one you need to do a lot, some more work. I put it as the extra credit feature. How about that? Yeah, so not a standard feature. Standard feature is these 3 small features. That's the standard feature, okay? Yeah. Yeah. But that one, multi-row insertion, although it's not too hard, but you need to do a lot more work. Yeah. The thing is you need to do a lot more work, yeah, than these 3 small features. So I make that feature as the extra credit feature. How about that? That's my plan, okay? Extra credit feature. Extra credit, I give you 2%. 2% extra credit, overall 2%, okay? Overall, that means the whole semester you have 100, this extra credit worth 2. 2 points of the total semester 100, okay? 2% extra credit. That's for this extra credit feature, all right? Yeah. So that's my plan, okay? I'll try to do it in this way, yeah. So then I will post it, in a few days, yeah. Probably Friday. So right now I said Friday, okay? Because I need to complete your midterm grading first. Today I will complete the midterm grading. So then Friday I will do this project. I will update the description. I will, because I need to define these 3 small features. What 3 features? Yeah. I need to figure out what are those 3 features. Yeah. So that's my my plan. Okay, all right. Let me look at the chat message here. Exam, what is available but not so not that with the clause. Yeah, so could use heavy all the time in no, not heavy. Yeah, that question. Okay, may not be good. Yeah, because from understanding point of view, if you're having all the time, yeah, because having is supposed to be used with the aggregate functions. Yeah. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, even if it works, but not quite right. Okay, yeah, just the understanding wise, not quite right. So, if just a simple condition without any aggregate function, why you use the having, right? Yeah. So not quite right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So here, what is available in exam but not the with clause? Okay. I just thought what do we learn? The SQL with clause. So it is available in in that version 8. Yeah. But not in version 5. That's the main difference. Yeah, that's the main difference. Yeah. Yeah. Other things probably some more, but for this class we do not need to do those things, right? Yeah. So for other things, when you encounter, then so you try to do things differently. Yeah. But for this class we don't need. Yeah. All right, let me stop right here. Yeah, already we use up the time. Yeah.